She's.
Okay, I'm really a professional. I know exactly when to start. This is our money makers.
I got no drip in my pocket. Must have forgot it, or maybe I already lost it. Don't got enough to go cop it. I'm about to take off like a rocket. Houston, we might have a problem, but that don't mean money will solve 'em. No, that don't mean money will solve 'em.
Today we are talking about, some people say it makes the world go round, others say it's the root of all evil. I'm talking about money. I'm here with Glynn, and I want to talk about the differences between men and women when it comes to money, because we had a great conversation over the phone recently, and I'm like, I want you on Soul Traveller. First of all, tell me, I mean, you coach a lot of women and couples and men, and you're focusing more on women right now. Mm-hmm. How do women, really briefly, perceive money?
Too many of us find it intimidating, and that it's something that's overwhelming and actually not for us to deal with. That's for the men to do, or just not deal with it at all. And I think that obviously it's not everyone. There's plenty of women out there who are all over it and very, very confident when it comes to money. But the reason I focus on women is that I identified that actually the vast majority of us are simply not comfortable when it comes to dealing with money. And that's everything from actually owning it, to say I earn this amount of money and I'm proud and I can let the world know, because we tend to play it down, to investing and planning for their futures. But the vast majority of men I speak to are actually quite shocked when I say this is how women feel about money, because they see it as a tool, they see it as something practical, they see it as having money is to be proud, is what you should be aspiring to.
A few years ago, started investing in stocks and shares. And I really enjoy it. But the reason I took so long to do it is because I couldn't, when I would talk to a man about it, I just didn't understand it. And my investor is a woman, and she made it so understandable for me that I got excited. So what is it to do with men and women when they're talking about money?
I think it's because men see it so unemotional, and women are so emotionally attached to it. And I have this exact conversation with my clients where they said in the past they've gone looking for support when it comes to money, and the men will just say, just do this. And then this, and this, and the acronyms and the language, because they're so comfortable with it. And they don't realise that we don't have the same exposure to it that men tend to have growing up and in the media and everywhere. Men are exposed to much more when it comes to money. Like if you look at articles that talk about money, there was a statistic recently I saw where a survey was done, and it said 65% of money articles targeted at women talk about reducing shopping and managing shopping splurges. Okay. Whereas if you look at the articles that are targeted at men, it's about investing, earning money.
I came across a friend who said to me she finds it hard to meet men because she tends to realise that when she meets them, she earns a lot more than they do, and it intimidates them. And I said, well, maybe you're meeting the wrong men who are quite insecure, but you've come across this in real life.
So let me give you an example of people I've spoken to, women I've spoken to, who've had this exact concern, where they were in a relationship, and long-term relationships, these are not necessarily people they've just met, and they were so concerned by the fact that they earned more than their partner that it was holding them back. And they didn't want to move forward with the relationship, but they were terrified to tell them in case they rejected them. It just goes to show how, you know, we as women, we haven't gotten to the point yet where we feel that we are allowed to own that we are entitled to earn what we earn, that we deserve to earn what we earn, and we shouldn't put ourselves down for the case of others. And that's where we make ourselves small in so many ways so that we don't make other people feel bad. That's what it is.
Growing up, you know, the important thing for us was learn how to cook if you want to be a good wife, get a good education, and get a nice job. But you don't have to be overly ambitious, because if you want to be a mom, eventually you've got to take care of the kids and the husband. And that was just how we grew up. And that's how my parents were, and they had a great marriage. But something in the back of my mind, even when I was young, kept saying, if something was to happen to my husband, if there was a separation, I don't have any understanding of money or taking care of my family. So I think it's really important for women. You don't have to be a full, ambitious 9-to-5 woman or working 12 hours a day. You need to have some kind of understanding of how money works.
There was a survey recently where it said 70% of household income is actually managed by females. So very often it's the wife or the mother who's actually managing the day-to-day finances. So we need to understand how to best manage money, not just for ourselves and for our families. And very often people assume in relationships, if the man is managing the money, it's because he's taken the power. In actual fact, what I've realized, and the more I do this, the more I see of it, we give it away. We give that power away because we don't want to deal with it. And then I've dealt with couples where the male in the relationship is like, I want her involved because what if something happens to me? And that's another reason why I focus on women. So that we should, I mean, I don't believe in shoulds, but I do think, that's why I harp on about emergency funds, which is essentially that. So it's that pocket of money aside that no matter what happens, you don't need to worry about money for a period of time. So whether it's a recession proof or you've lost your job or suddenly you find yourself without a partner or an income or whatever that might be, have an amount of money set aside that lets you breathe, focus on other issues and then come back to the money bit. That's not making everything worse. Because financial security is huge for us as humans.
I know it's a cultural mindset, you know, different cultures, the way your parents are brought up. Like, I don't have that feeling of there's a lack of money because I think I never grew up in that mindset. It didn't mean we were completely loaded. But when you have that, I feel like you invite more in. And when I'm around people who go, oh, I can't pay for this, I don't have this, I feel like you're creating more of it. How can we change those cultural mindsets?
I think mindset is everything, because very often people think finances is about the numbers, it's about the maths. And obviously there's an element of that, but it's when it comes to money, it's more about mindset. And they can play out differently as we grow up. Like someone with the comments of money doesn't grow on trees might end up being like feeling like, oh, I need to be super tight with money and I need to, you know, always be really careful. Or they might actually, it doesn't always play out the same way. They might also then develop a mindset of, well, you know, it's going to expire anyway, so I'm just going to blow it. And then I 100% agree that abundance kind of mindset, I welcome it in, and we talk about affirmations, and it really does make a difference, because if you are saying there's not enough, or I don't deserve it, or I don't want it, I don't like it, then you are energetically pushing it away.
So I want to know, to all the women that are out there watching right now, what are the top 3 tips you would give them when it comes to money? I'm going to give one before you give your 3, just from my own experience, and that is, for me, I started investing, I'm not being sexist here, men, after I met a friend of mine who's obviously a woman, who is a private investor, and I felt comfortable talking to her woman to woman when it came to money, because it was a more emotional conversation. I don't know, there was a different connection. So I just want to give tips to women out there if they're afraid of investing. Try and talk to a woman. You just never know, okay? Here's one woman who does it for you. So what are your top 3 tips?
Yes, definitely. Talk to a woman, find someone that you are comfortable with. And then I would expand on that is talk to your friends, talk to your sisters, talk to the women in your life, because we don't do that enough as women. Men talk to each other, I find, a lot more about money, and we don't, and then we end up clouded in this shame of everybody else knows what to do and I don't. The second one is investing. We really shy away from investing. And I think that because we're afraid of it, because it seems so financing, it seems so risky, you know, invest the time in yourself to find someone to talk to about investing that is independent. Help yourself to take that fear away and do the research. And then the last one would be to own it. Just own it. It's yours. This is a power in our life. This is a positive tool. Money is a good thing. And when you are confident and you've earned it and it's yours, then you should be able to use that to put your life to, you know, to do what you want in your life and put it to the use in your life that you want, not what you should do, and not without guilt or shame or any of that, a positive thing. You can use it to push your life forward. So own it. It's yours.
Kinda